Thank you, Presiding Officer, and can I refer members to my register of interests to ask the Scottish Government what measures it has put in place to support island communities in advance of Hull's 801 and 802 and other ferries coming into service.
Minister Patrick Harvie.
While delivery of investments in new vessels and port infrastructure is being progressed, the Transport Minister has authorised the purchase and deployment of MV Lochfriesa, has chartered MV Arrow for overhaul and resilience cover, and recently agreed a 9-month charter of MV Alfred. Additional funding has been committed for enhanced maintenance of vessels, and work with CMAL and the operators will be continued to identify potential additional second-hand tonnage to support the fleet. These measures, combined with our fares freeze, demonstrate that the Scottish Government is absolutely committed to improving the Lifeline ferry fleet and better meeting the needs of island communities. Ministers, of course, like everybody else, fully appreciate the level of anger and disappointment that some of the recent issues in relation to Lifeline ferry services have caused within these communities.
Richard Leonard.
Well, can I thank the Minister for his response? A new ferry capacity is, of course, welcome, if long overdue. But the trouble is this. The latest solution chosen by the Government, the MV Alfred, if it passes its berthing trials, will cost £9 million for a 9-month charter when it was bought outright for only £14 million. There are outstanding safety questions following its grounding in the Pentland Firth last year when at least 6 passengers were injured. And this catamaran is being time-chartered from an operator that refuses to recognise trade unions, whose crew are believed to be hired on terms and conditions significantly inferior to CalMac crews. No wonder last week the RMT accused the Scottish Government of adopting P&O-style tactics through the back door. So what did the Government know of this? Can the Minister today give an undertaking that should the MV Alfred cease service, there will be value for public money, its crew will be employed on the same terms and conditions as CalMac crew, that they will be free to join a trade union, and that at all times the health and safety of both the public and the crew will be paramount?
Minister.
Thank you. The Government takes extremely seriously the issues that Richard Leonard is rightly raising, and he's right to be concerned about them. Of course, most people recognise that while longer-term infrastructure is coming into place, the Charter gives additional, very important capacity, and that's going to be extremely welcomed by most people who rely on the services. But the terms and conditions for crews under a charter are a matter for the operators. CalMac has confirmed that they are receiving the living wage, and Transport Scotland officials are monitoring the situation and will keep the Transport Minister appraised of any further action that's required.
Again, a number of supplementaries. I want to get them all in. We're going to go beyond time, but the questions will need to be brief, and so will the responses. First, Emma Roddick.
Thank you. I was delighted to hear of the charter of MV Alfred, and I think any measures to secure additional tonnage for the fleet and improve the resilience of our Lifeline ferry services is welcome and demonstrates the Scottish Government's commitment to the communities which rely on them. Given that Alfred's design means that she can only operate at some ports, can I ask the Minister where on the network this vessel may be deployed and what benefits the Government envisages its charter will bring?
Briefly as possible, Minister.
Emma Roddick is quite right to welcome the fact that this charter is now in place. The primary focus will be to support resilience across the Clyde and Hebrides network. This should help to mitigate the impact of disruption or where islands are reduced to single vessel service. Berthing trials will be completed before the vessel enters service to confirm the routes on which it can operate, with likely deployment on Arran and Isla. CalMac will be engaging with network community representatives over the next few weeks to discuss deployment options to support resilience across the network.
And Graham Simpson.
Thank you. Can the Minister say who it was agreed to pay £9 million to hire a ferry for 9 months?
Minister.
I'm not able to provide a name. The Scottish Government is responsible for the decision to charter the service, and I suspect that if we hadn't put that extra capacity in place, we'd be getting an earful from the member and others across the chamber for other reasons.
And very briefly, Willie Rennie.
It was once that ferries were just late and over budget, but now they're on fire, and we're paying £9 million for a 9-month contract. This is an outrage. The MV Alfred can't even run on all the routes. And the Minister hasn't answered the question. When will the islanders be told who will lose out this summer because of this government's incompetence?
Minister.
Well, I have just explained to the Chamber that work will be ongoing with community representatives as well to identify where this additional capacity will be deployed. And I suspect most people who actually rely on the service will be glad that it's there.